Okay. Well, I know we came here to listen to music today, and that's absolutely what we're going to do. But in the meantime, we're all going to get a little history lesson, because I think that's what the world can use, learning from history. And I'm going to share an excerpt from a speech given by a man. But before I do, I'm going to tell you a little bit about that man. See, this man was born in New York as a baby. He wasn't born a man. He was born a baby in New York with a silver spoon in his mouth. He was rich. He was crazy rich. And you know, he went through school, and he was in New York, and he said, you know what? This isn't enough. So he left New York, and he went out west, and he became a rancher. That's a hard thing to do. It's a little easier when your parents can buy you the ranch and people to work at it, but still. And he became a successful rancher, and he said, you know what? That's not enough. And so what did he do? This man who grew up in New York, a rich guy, and then became a rancher, and he said, that's not enough. I'm going to become an officer of the law. And he became a badass one at that. There's legends of him. Legends of him where he walked criminals hundreds of miles on horseback to bring him to jail. And back then you didn't do that. You just took the bribe and let him go. But not this man. And so after he became an officer of the law, he said, you know what? That's not enough. And what did he do? He went to war. He went to war, and he ran a badass cavalry. They were known as the Rough Riders, named after DMX's group. So here we got a man who's born as a baby in New York City with a silver spoon in his mouth. He said, that's not enough. And they went out west, became a rancher. He said, that's not enough. He became an officer of the law, a badass one at that. He said, that's not enough. He went to war. He came back, and he said, that's not enough. And what did he do? He became the president of this nation. And he's done many things that have affected all of our lives, including the national park system. Yeah. And you know what? So we got the silver spoon baby who grew up and went out and became a rancher. He said, that's not enough. He became an officer of law. He said, that's not enough. He went to war. He said, that's not enough. And then became the president of the United States. He said, that's not enough. And what did he do? Well, I'm going to show a little excerpt from the speech that he did. He said, that's not enough. I'm going to take this land, and I'm going to give it to my people. I'm going to find the best parts of this land, and I'm going to give it to you, because this is your land, and that is our national park system. And in the time he was president, he gave a little speech, and it went something like this. The poorest way to face life is to face it with a sneer. And there are many people who find a twisted pride and cynicism. Many who base their criticism of the criticisms of others who do what they themselves would dare not even attempt. And it's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the person who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who knows that there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does strive to do the deeds, who knows the great devotion, who at his best knows the triumph of high victory, and at his worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his soul will never be with those cold, timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
song's called Teddy Roosevelt. Exactly.